Today's video is sponsored by Crunchyroll. It took forever, guys, but we finally did it. Isekai Quartet has been airing for a few months now, and I thought it'd be a fun idea to take every character in the show, figure out what makes them cool, and find the D&D equivalent. A few problems already rise up from this idea, like, are you really just going to sit down and watch 3 seasons of Overlord just to make a single video about cute anime girls in school? Or, there's like 30 people in the show, how are you gonna fit them all into a single video? And to that I say, help me. And to that I say, we're gonna tone down the workload to keep things fun and to ensure the length of this project doesn't exceed 3 hours. First off, for anyone unfamiliar, Isekai Quartet is a budget cut style show starring 5 sets of characters from completely different animes. The episodes take on a slice of life style as all of the characters enjoy school related activities and get some time to hang out with each other. For the D&D builds, the only factors I'll be focusing on will be from what we've seen from the show so far. That means if a character has the ability to teleport in their anime, but never teleported on screen in Isekai Quartet, we won't be bothering with it. And with that said and done, let's get this show started. Kazuma, Megumin, Aqua, and Darkness. Alright, so this is gonna be the 3rd time I talk about Konosuba on this channel. Might as well get it over with. Kazuma can sneak around with stealth skills and pickpocket things with steal skills. Invisibility would help him stay unseen, and making him an arcane trickster rogue would give him an invisible mage hand to steal things with. Megumin's explosion magic would be the 9th level spell Meteor Swarm. A more important trait that a lot of people seem to be glancing over though would be during the optometry test, where Megumin reveals to the viewers that she's completely blind. How did none of us know this before? Oh, she's legal, alright. Legally blind, that is. Darkness is a crusader designed around having ungodly high amounts of health at the cost of her weapon accuracy. Fully committing to the barbarian class will give her the HP she needs, and wearing a set of heavy plate mail would restrict her combat abilities. Finally, Aqua is a goddess, of which there aren't any actual stat blocks for. To make up for that small issue, being a 20th level cleric should be more than enough. Abuse the turn undead skill to bully the Overlord cast with, and abuse the destroy undead skill to kill Death Knight repeatedly with. Sacred Create Water is a massive spell that summons up huge amounts of liquid to a nearby location. Although the Create Water spell can only make 10 gallons, using a 9th level spell slot can change that into 90. Use the Control Water spell to multiply the water's volume a few hundred times, and you got yourself a swimming pool. That last skill is probably the most useful, but Aqua in general just isn't. And that's it. Now to the new Konosuba cast, Chris. The only skill Chris uses in the show is Bind. Ropes of Entanglement are magical items that do the exact same thing, and they don't even require spell slots. Well, would you look at that? Vanir. The 3rd demon general's only ability in Isekai Quartet was summoning little explodey minions from the ground. The spell Summon Lesser Demons could work here, and conjuring up a small batch of cackler demons could fit the script. When they die, cackler demons have a laugh so terrifying it can damage anyone nearby. I'd say that's pretty close. Yunyun. Unlike anyone else in the show, Yunyun never gets enough screen time to do anything cool. For that reason, I'm sort of forced to label her commoner. Wiz. Once again, a well-written character with no screen time in Isekai Quartet. May Season 3 be generous for you, Wiz. Chamusuke. Baby Satan can both fly and breathe small bursts of fire from its mouth. Magma methods in D&D are really similar, so that's what we're going with. Ruffian. Is that honestly his real name? Anyway, he does a lot of varying jobs outside of the main school grounds, so being a commoner with a guild merchant background would fit him nicely. One of the biggest conspiracies with this guy is how he manages multiple storefronts at the same time. Simulacrum is a spell that lets you create clones of yourself, which would be the easiest explanation. Alright, with Konosuba done, let's move on to Overlord. Ainz Ul Gon. Magic Sansa Skeleton has a lot of powers up his sleeves, but before we jump into that, let me just say that Crunchyroll helped so much in the making of this video. With 1080p HD content and episodes airing only an hour after release in Japan, being an anime fan has never been easier. Not only that, but a portion of their revenue goes back to the anime industry, so you can easily support the creators behind your favorite shows. A lot of you wanted me to make My Hero Academia or ReZero in D&D, which I've really been considering. Well, if you'd like to get a head start on me, sign up at crunchyroll.com/blainsimple, or click the link in the description to get 14 days of Crunchyroll Premium completely free. Once again, that's crunchyroll.com/blainsimple. And we're back to the video. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Sans the Skeleton. Probably the most varying character in the entire show. Control Weather is a 6th tier magic from Overlord that allows Ainz to control the weather. Bam! 10 of 10 description. Alright, we're done here. Yeah, I know I can't end it like that. D&D has its own version of Control Weather, which works exactly the same, and the longer I look at the spell, the more I wonder why none of my wizards actually know it. Gosh dang, this looks up. Emotion Suppression is a passive skill Ainz has to ensure he permanently stays an emo skeleton. The D&D spell Calm Emotions is a bit on the expensive side, being a second level magic and all, but to Ainz I'm sure it could just be flavored as a cantrip. If you think that's strong, you haven't seen anything yet. Ainz can fly, which can be done with a flight spell, and can also teleport, which surprisingly enough can be done with a teleport spell. Greater Magic Shield is a stat boosting spell that can protect the user from holy magic. In D&D, a protection from Celestial Scroll would give Ainz 5 minutes of complete goddess immunity. Ainz's final skill is Time Stop. It's a spell that, well, stops time. This spell takes direct inspiration from the Time Stop spell in D&D, which allows you to pause the entire multiverse for up to 30 seconds. Ainz keeps the spell up for a good 39 seconds in Season 2, estimating that he probably casted the spell twice during the episode. I might be underselling the power on that, but someone who can casually cast multiple 9th level spells is already passing mortal limitations. Forget Meteor Swarm, which Ainz calls Nuclear Blast in the show. Ainz must have been either incredibly desperate to pass that test, or Time Stop is chump change in comparison to his real power. Either way, that's Magic Sans for you. Albedo. Albie is a succubus with a few extra skills on her belt. Aside from her intimidating aura of bloodlusting murder, her only main skill showcased in the anime was Wall of Jericho, a sturdy wall built to counter attacks. D&D has Wall of Stone, and that spell would work just fine. Give the girl telekinesis magic for redirecting attacks, and a strength score high enough to bench press an Iron Fortress. Shaltir. Shaltir's a vampire. That's pretty much it. She never gets to show off her abilities in the show, I'm sorry. Aura and Mare. Aside from being a stable keep and librarian in the show respectively, neither Aura nor Mare get any screen time showing off their powers. The dodgeball scene exists though, so they'd probably just have an above average strength. Demiurge. He's by far the smartest character in the entire cast, so maxing out intelligence would be an obvious choice. During the beach episode of Season 1, Demiurge used his flash skill to temporarily blind Kazuma. Blindness/deafness is a D&D spell that'll grant crippling disabilities faster than my hands after writing this script. Oh, and Demi can also forcefully make targets kneel and stand. The suggestion spell in D&D can charm creatures exactly the same way. Alright, let's move on. Cocytus. Both his build and traits really remind me of an ice devil from the 8th layer of hell. Both of these creatures resemble each other so closely it hurts. Pandora's Actor, a painfully cringy hollow man with some pretty bizarre powers. From what's seen in the show, Pandora can mimic the appearance, voice, and skill set of other creatures. True Polymorph would give Pandora the tools to make that happen. The only main concern is, well, Pandora would need to be the same level that Ainz is for it to work, and considering that he turns into Ainz in the show, that means he is. Only a little terrifying, but let's move on. Sebas. He's an old random man who spits wisdom and drinks tea. Aside from that, he serves no real function in Isekai Quartet and can feel free to join the pile of commoners in the corner. The Battle Maids. Aside from the redhead maid having the ability to show up seemingly out of nowhere, all the other maids are pretty generic. Make them all knights and give the red girl some high tier stealth abilities and you should be good to go. Kyoko. The Roach King is the king of roaches. Is that really what I wrote? What? Sorry, and as such, he needs a way to command roaches to do his bidding. An item called the Pipes of the Sewers allows you to take control of nearby rats, but with a little reflavoring, you can just let it control bugs. And with that, we finally make our way to the ReZero cast. Subaru, a completely normal shut-in protagonist with the power to reset time whenever he dies. One problem with this is when Chris mentioned that magic can't bring people back to life in this world. If that's really the case, then Subaru's main ability is completely worthless. The only takeaway from this skill is that it can also attract magical monsters. Just for that, give the kid an 8th level antipathy/sympathy spell and send him on his way. Amelia and Puck. Puck can fly almost 24/7, so give him a set of levitation boots. To mimic the way he tosses crystal chunks around, it's big brain time, kids. Make Puck a conjuration wizard with the catapult spell prepared. Conjuration wizards can create 5-pound chunks of crystal at will, and catapult is just the spell he'll need to launch them around. Honestly, I just thought that up on the fly and I'm strangely happy with how it sounds. Conjuration wizards can also make crystal surfboards, and with the telekinesis spell allow it to actually move. It's pretty cool, but these spells would take forever to pull off in an actual D&D fight, and are more for cool factor than anything else. Rem's a demon girl capable of turning beast mode, amplifying her combat powers drastically at the cost of her sanity. Barbarians in D&D have the rage feature, which fits well. The horn that appears on her head could just be a flavored effect of raging, but if your DM's a fickler for homebrew, going a level into any full caster can snag you the disguise self spell. Honestly, it's a waste, but what are you gonna do? Rom, the epiphany of uselessness. Although she talks a big game, Rom in Isekai Quartet is actually more worthless than Subaru. Let that sink in for a moment. Beat Rice. Beat Rice is capable of levitation magic. So, here, take it. Next, Roswal. Aside from being naturally intimidating, Roswal is also a pretty normal cast member. No wonder him and Rom get along so well. Felt. Honestly, while writing this video script, I completely forgot Felt was in Isekai Quartet, but there she is, studying for a test, so yeah. Make her a comment or two. Reinhard von Astrea. No. Julius. Purple Boy is able to create walls of colorful light using Al-Clauselia. Prismatic Wall is a 9th level D&D spell which, nicely enough, also creates a rainbow wall. Creatures too close to the wall are blinded, and anyone who tries to breach the wall are certainly dead. Wilhelm. Another old man. Will is much cooler in ReZero, but in Isekai Quartet he's retired. And with ReZero done, we'll move into Tanja the Evil's anime. Honestly, only one character from this cast is worth talking about, so to make sure you don't think I'm gonna go into detail about Erich von Rugen and Kurt von Rudersdorf, they're all just going to be CR 1/8 guards. Tanya's battalion of soldiers are also magic casters though, with their main spell being a protective barrier. Wall of Force acts exactly like that, with the upside being that it can't physically be destroyed. While fully decked out in her military gear, Victoria can shoot off magical bullets with her rifle and fly, so strap on a pair of boots of flying and mix the magic weapon spell in to enhance their guns. Perfect. Now for the main girl herself. Tanja von de Gerschaaf, the best artillery mage from her anime. One of Tanya's biggest flexes of power was during the fight against the Destroyer, in which Tanja had to call for divine inspiration just to survive. The only other time was during the dodgeball event, where she created an anti-magic field around herself to absorb Ainz's and Megumin's explosion magic. If it wasn't obvious already, Tanja would need to be a level 20 cleric. The two other small skills she owns are the power to fly, which can be attained using Boots of Flying, and the power to command creatures to her will, which could easily just be the command spell. Yep, this is turning out to be a pretty long video, so let's wrap it up with a final group of cast members from the Rising of the Shield Hero. Naofumi. If it wasn't obvious already, Naofumi is the Shield Hero. Along with that title comes a slew of high-level defense magic. Shield Prison is a spell which creates a cage of metal and chains surrounding a target in range. Odaluk's Resilient Sphere is the D&D equivalent to that, with the main difference being that the D&D version is see-through. Airstrike Shield can be flavored as multiple panels created by the Wall of Stone spell, and Naofumi's Hate Shield, at least from the show's standpoint, is completely cosmetic. Aw, how cute. Raphtalia. Raphtalia's sword is able to consume incoming magic and expel that energy harmlessly around her. Albeit it's not a weapon, the Rod of Absorption can consume whatever magic comes her way. Just tape the rod to her sword and you'll be good to go. And to wrap things up, Philo is able to transform into a bird and back into a human at will. Only Archdruids are really able to transform at will, so level 20 Druid it is. Along with that, her fast-paced attacks could be enhanced with haste magic, and the jump spell can triple Philo's jump height. Otherwise, the majority of her power comes from the beast form she controls. And there you have it. Honestly, this was a huge project to tackle due to the amount of characters in the show, so if you're interested in seeing more, you know what to do. I have mixed opinions on what anime into D&D video I want to do next, so feel free to give me your opinions down below. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.